As you can see for yourselves, we don't have toilets. As you can also see, there are lots of shacks and they are cramped.
This resident is among hundreds living in H39 informal settlement. She says dreams of owning a house of her own are just that, dreams. The people here say they were removed from a local hostel 8 years ago in promise of better living conditions. But promises soon filtered to empty.
Living under these conditions is very difficult, especially now that rains are on the way and winter's around the corner. We feel alone and unimportant.
This water tap was provided by a volunteer. It is their only source. Other than that, they make do with pit toilets and shacks.
We are pleading to the government. We are pleading to the local municipalities so that to make sure they're speeding up the processes to make sure people are living in the dignifying society and condition.
Just across the road, the people of Matuguza are singing a different tune.
Izindlu lezakudala zaziwa wayesesilungisela ukuthi eyiqala kabusha.
The old houses used to have cracks and were falling apart. Government then promised to rebuild, and they did as promised.
It's not all doom and gloom here. This municipality is rated among the best performing in KwaZulu-Natal. But for the residents who regard themselves as the forgotten, they are yet to see why it is so. Nonzo Dlamini for Morning Live, Emadlangeni in Newcastle.
All right, and there you have it. Promises made, sometimes kept, and according to other views, not so much at other times. So let's get the answers. I'm joined again by the Executive Mayor of the Newcastle area, Mr. Afzul Raymond, and we're also joined by the Amajuba District Mayor, Councillor Jabu Kumalo. A very good morning to the both of you, and thank you so much again for your time. Let's first start with the allegations of poor service delivery when it comes to housing. I think the area was H39. I'm going to ask you, because it is also in your vicinity, your jurisdiction. What do you have to say to that?
Thank you, Ayanda. We've taken over this municipality as the African National Congress in 2009, finding huge housing backlogs, over 35,000 housing backlog. We have made a concerted effort with the help of the provincial the cabinet and the provincial government to make certain that we are able to deliver houses, and I can assure you that H39 is one of those projects that have already been approved. It's part of a slum clearance. H39 has a bit of a history. It's part of land grabs where people have just moved in, and it's also part of a place where a hostel was demolished and people were moved onto just bare ground. But we've managed to put in toilets there. We've managed to put in some free clean water, but we are also working towards a housing project which is approved and it should be starting to get built by the end of this year. So there is certain hope for those residents.
Watching that insert, I know this was off air, but you murmured something to the tune of there were some inaccuracies in that particular insert. So, Mam Kumalo, I'm going to ask you, Councillor, which areas were not so true?
The areas that were not true, first I must greet the people of Amajuba who are really telling the good story in these 20 years of democracy. Newcastle has put those 10 pipes. It's not by volunteers. And we've able to reduce the backlog of 87% to 17% of water backlogs in the whole district. And we are in this district, one of the municipalities in this district, were able to have 100% electricity infrastructure in Dannhauser. And there is an ongoing ongoing project that is a sanitation, that is addressing water and sanitation backlogs. In that particular area, the mayor has alluded that we've put the housing project, because remember, we inherited that from the previous council. As the African National Congress, we have engaged those people because they were illegally put there from the hostel, but we have engaged with them. We have given them the basic services, which is water and sanitation. We understand the conditions that they are living in. That's why we are in constant engagement with Lokunjan, with them. So that's why we have approved the housing project. It's starting. It is approved. Remember, the processes are not that so fast that we want to build houses. We still have to go through processes of environmental assessment and others. But for now, you can see in the other insert, you can see that Umatuguza, it's really at the Elokujan a different story, because when we took over these municipalities, Newcastle in 2009 and Amajuba in 2011, we were able to integrate our services, because as we stand here, it is not about the competition, but it's about the integration of services, and this is about the complementing of each other's municipalities, because we are deployed by the African National Congress to make sure that we keep on telling the good story and we integrate the services to make sure that we bring delivery faster to our people, not just delivery, but to bring quality service to our people of this beautiful district.
Another good story that you have to tell is, of course, the industries that you have. Coal mining, although it's whittled down a little bit, still exists, the clothing and textile industry. But with the flip side of the coin, there's been a concerted effort by this particular part of the country to woo Chinese investors, to woo them into making factories. That's had a bittersweet effect in that it's created a lot of jobs, but we've also seen a lot of exploitation. So what do you have to say to that effect? I don't know who'd like to take the answer. Would you like to go for it?
On the 25th of February, MEC Mabuya Kulu was here together with the mayor. He will elaborate on that, to launch the industrial development and Lokunjan zone. So we want to cater for all those challenges, but we also want to cater for all the development that we want to take advantage out of that project.
We have about 10 seconds left. Your feedback, you did meet with Mr. Mabuya Kulu. What was the response?
Yes, look, we are engaging with Chinese industry. Of course, they are one of the biggest job creators in Newcastle. We want to make sure that we have quality jobs. And I can emphasize that it's not all Chinese business that exploit people. It's a few rotten apples, and we are hoping to deal with that issue. And it's coming right.
All right, we hope to engage with you a little bit further on that front, but my thanks to you both for joining us this morning. Let's leave it there for now, because there's plenty more to discuss when we come back. Let's take a quick ad break. Back with more in just a moment. Thank you.